All right. Wanted to. Oh, my bad. I forgot to. It's extremely hot here in the desert. Anyway, wanted to talk about elders and also um, ancestors. And I've been wanting to just stretch out and do this. Haven't really done it in a while, but there is a directive that is coming from the spiritual world, and we need to take heed to what that directive is. A lot of times, uh, we I think we neglect our elders, and we definitely neglect the ancestors. And what's been going on, basically, when you break it all down, is that we are being forced into um, back into submission of religion again, and that's basically what's going on. So anybody that comes out and has a message that is pro Jesus or pro King James version of the Bible, um, then they're pushed out front, right? So we know that that's what's going on. We understand that those are the things that are going on right now. So, like for example, the attacking of us talking to our ancestors, which is a grave and an ill mistake. If we listen to the things that are being said, and once again, it goes back to the King James version of the Bible and religion. And it goes back down to that religion. And why does it go back down to religion? Because they want us to think that all of our spiritual practices are in some way, shape, form, or fashion evil. And there's nothing evil about them at all. So we um, we kind of pushed them aside. And there was like, I think there was a meme. I think that's what I saw. It was like a meme or something. But anyway, it was a girl, and she was talking about how you talking to your ancestors is witchcraft. And I kind of laughed at that. I was like, okay, yeah, or that, and then there was another one that was saying that your ancestors are demons, or your ancestors are evil. If you're talking to your ancestors, you're talking to demons, or if you're talking to your ancestors, you're evil, and all of these different things. And so then, but once again, you've got to use common sense. And once again, Judson Senior, my grandfather used to say that common sense is not so common. So you gotta use common sense. And one thing is for certain: if if I'm in a subconscious state or in a conscious state or whatever, and my mother, who is on the other side, tries to talk to me or appears to me or anything like that, well, I know that that woman doesn't have an evil or demonic bone in her. She never, that just wouldn't be her. And then the other thing is that I knew her all of my life. I knew her 50 years. And and she birthed me and changed my diapers and did all of that, and we lived in the same house and all of that. You can't go through all that, because when her spirit showed up, I knew who it was. And I knew by the way she spoke and the way she moved and everything, because I know her. This wasn't some um, some arbitrary figure that just showed up out of the blue. That wasn't how it went down. So that's the thing. So I like vehemently, you know, just reject all of that stuff that they were saying, because it can't be true. Now, if there's somebody who shows up, I'm not saying that evil people and demons and stuff like that can't show up. in a spiritual way, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But your ancestors, you know them. If you don't know them, then 9 times out of 10, if you didn't know them while they were in the earth, chances are that you're not going to know who they are or whatever, or you never explored to try to find out who they were. Just like that's why doing your DNA and genealogy and all of that kind of stuff is important. Why? Because it bolsters how much you know about you. Because and no matter what anybody says, you are your ancestors. Whose blood runs through your veins? Your mama and daddy gave you the blood that runs through your veins, and all of the blood that ran through. I forget what it was. I think it was, but it was some ridiculous. It's like some ridiculous high number, and I should know it, but I don't. Right off the top of my head right now. But it's this ridiculously high number of all of these souls that had to exist just to get you to where you are. See, we always worried about the witch and the warlock and the demons and the evil people and all of that kind of stuff, but we ain't worried about the good people. See, that's why the evil people get over, because they're taking action and we're not. And we're not. And it's highly upsetting, because in everything, and even when they're talking negatively about manifesting, everybody is trying to manifest stuff. Everybody. I don't care who you are. You trying to manifest. If you ain't got food right now, you trying to manifest dinner. You trying to make that happen. You're gonna move and make action happen so that you can get that dinner or whatever it is you need. When your rent is due, what are you doing? You moving and shaking, hustling, grinding, and doing what you got to do in order to do what? In order to do what? To try to get that rent paid. You trying to and if you don't have it, or if you haven't been taking action to try to get it, which are universal laws in action. Those things are universal laws in action. No matter, and it doesn't matter, no matter what you think, and no matter what you can call it whatever you want. One of my, I always talk about that. One of my favorite classes in college was general semantics, right? Because you can take words and twist them and make them mean whatever you want them to mean. And if I understand what you said and you understand what I said, then we communicated, regardless of what everybody outside of us thinks. Whatever you could think, whatever you want. But if you understand me and I understand you, and vice versa, guess what? We communicated. And communication is taking place on many, many levels. Communication is taking place on so many different levels, and we don't see that it's actually taking place on all these different levels, but it is. That's why we keep on telling, know thyself, and to thy own self be true, and go inside of yourself for the answers that you need. The answers that you need are inside. The answers that you need are not outside of you. They're not. They're inside of you. But we got this thing, but they want me and you to believe that there is like something magical out in the sky that's going to magically appear, right? But that's not how it works. And that's why we're behind in the game, because everybody else is taking your spirituality from your ancestors and is using it to get over on you. That's what's happening. All day, every day. That's what's going down. Because what? Because somebody told us something and made you scared of your ancestors. How are you going to be scared of your ancestors when their blood flows through your veins? And I was watching uh, uh, um, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think that's how you pronounce his name, right? Neil Tyson. We'll do it like that. We'll shorten it down. I apologize, Neil, if I'm disrespecting you, but I'm not trying to disrespect you at all. But he was talking about just how, no matter what your religious belief is, just the mere fact that you are here and that you exist for whatever amount of time that you exist in this realm, it's miraculous. All of the things that you had to go through to get here, to be here at this present time, in this present moment, which leads me to my next point. Start living in the moment. You got to live in the moment. You can't live in the past. You can't live too far. You can think about the future. You can want, you can have a desire and a want and a vision and a dream, whatever it is that you have, right? But if you get too far into that, then you're anxious. You got anxiety. Oh my God, I gotta make this happen. This has to go down. This has to happen, whatever, right? But the bottom line is that the only thing that you have is the present moment. That's the only thing that you possess. That's the only thing that's yours. And so you have to make the most of those moments, and then you have to create your moments. You have to create your moments. So that's why I say we talk about even like top-notch athletes and entertainers and people like that. That's what they do. They visualize themselves in the moment. And then when the moment gets there, all they're doing is fulfilling what they saw in the vision. It's already manifested. It's already there. All they have to do is just live it. That's why and then the other thing is repetition. Doing it over and over and over and over again. That's what creates expertise. That's what creates professionalism. That's what creates all of those things that go, that's why when somebody looks at, oh my God, what a great piano player this person is, or what a great basketball player this person is. But it's because of repetition, doing stuff over and over and over again, getting up early, staying up late, doing whatever they had to do in order to get to the point where they could live in that moment and be at the top-notch best that they can be and be excellent at it. So to sit up there and try to tell people, oh no, and if I'm in, and then talking about your consciousness, right? If I'm in my consciousness, right? I'm in my consciousness. And so that's why we try to tell you, look, there are so many levels of consciousness. Don't try to exclude any of them. When you're in sleep, that's a level of consciousness. You know, when you're in those daydream moments and things like that, those are levels of consciousness. When you when you when you see or talk to your ancestors, that is a level of your consciousness. Because you could not do it if you did not have some sort of consciousness of what your ancestors or what anything like that looked like. So you mean to tell me somebody that took care of you, wiped your butt, and did everything else, and then they show up in a vision, and then you gonna call them a demon? One of the 42 negative confessions of Mayat says what? It says to honor all. You are supposed to honor and respect all altars, because whatever is real to you is real to you. I may not believe it. I may not think it's possible. I may not think it's true. But whatever is true to you is true to you. Whatever is real to you is real to you. All things are possible to he that believes. Right? Because that's also because it doesn't matter if somebody else, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today. We're one of my boys that he's an intellect. So I like talking to him, and I hope he likes talking to me. I guess he probably does. That's probably why he called. But if you believe it, or if you live your life by it, that's you. But who am I to say what is real to you is not real to you? So you're going to call my ancestor a demon or evil or pagan or all of these other words. People come up with all these words. And the other thing is, half of these people, they have no clue what none of these words mean in the English language. Because remember, words are spells. So they're sitting up there saying all kinds of stuff, right? But they have no clue about what none of this stuff is. No clue. But they want to get on you and say something there. Now, with that being said about the ancestors, throat is dry. Now, with that being said, now we got to talk about the elders. And this is the other problem right now with our society, with our culture, with our race, is the fact that we have no leadership, or we have leadership, but we don't have anybody following that leadership. I think that's probably the better way to put it. People don't listen. They're in the lack of leadership. There are no elders, and where there are elders, people don't listen to them. So I was listening a little bit before I came on. I was like listening to different people talking about elders and talking about what eldership is and what it isn't, and it's a very slippery slope. But here's the thing about elders: they know stuff that you don't know. and and wise counsel, or being able to take counsel from people, is important. Why? Because it keeps you out of trouble. You do not have to stick your hand in the fire to know that the fire is hot. If you are smart enough, and an elder says, "Look, man, don't put your hand in there because it's hot. It's gonna burn you." But you decide, he just scared. He don't know nothing. Right now, so here are the factors that got to be included in that. Right, here are the factors that need to be included in what there has to be some level of relationship, and there has to be some level of trust within that relationship, so that that person will believe you as an elder, or that they seek you out as an elder before they make a move. And I will honestly say that has been eroding since the since I mean the black exploitation film era, because we went from having wholesome people to look up to now all of a sudden everybody's a pimp, a pusher, a drug, and then it just got worse, and it continues to get worse to this day. And even with the women have no young girls really don't have anybody to look up to. Everybody's twerking. Grandmothers are 35, 40 years old now. right? Grandma in the club, she don't even call herself grandma. She got some highfalutin name because she trying to hang out in the club with you. Call me a liar. Fight. Fight me, fight, fight me about it for real. But that's what we got. See, y'all don't realize that's what we got now, and we keep trying to go. Well, that's it's just the times and this, that, and the other thing. No, those things protected you. You see all the stuff that goes on in the news and everything. All these girls and y'all know that they trafficking women and girls and all this kind of stuff. But yet and still, and men ain't trying to protect them. All of that. So you got to look out for yourself. But but there's none of that. In social media, and I'll do a live about that. But the whole thing is that if you're not listening to your elders, you can get caught up in a trap so quick, fast, and in a hurry in this day and time that it's a lot worse than it ever was, except during the time of slavery, except during the time of chattel slavery. And that's only because there was so much, there was so many atrocities and so much heinousness and all of these things going down that, that was just a horrible period in our history, period. Enough said about that. But that's why you need to listen to your elders because they know stuff that you don't know. Like I tell my kids all the time, it's like y'all. You think I just woke up and and I was 60 years old. You think I just when I popped out the womb, that whatever, and I knew everything. No. And during my time, you had to listen to whatever was going down, because or you put yourself in danger. Right? You put yourself in real danger. So and it wasn't, and it was by the elders. The elders were holding everybody accountable. That's what was holding your behind accountable, and those elders were in touch with the ancestors. No matter what their religion was, they was fasting and they was praying and they was trying to get an answer. They was trying to get answers to the things that was ailing us. And that's why I say, when you go and look at those 42 negative confessions of Mayat, and you see, it tells you, honor everybody's altar, because you don't know what's on that altar, and you don't know what they trying to do, and you don't know who they trying to do it for, and you could call it whatever you want. But that's the same thing you do. That's the same. So you mean to tell me drinking the blood of Jesus and eating his body, the blood and the bread and all of that? That's all it is a Akashic ritual. That's what it is. Go look it up. I ain't gotta lie. Go look it up. Do your own research. But I'm telling you, those things and that came from a demonic place, because it was cannibalistic. You don't want to talk with me. You don't. You do not want to talk with me. So where do you think that came from? Because that actually came from a place of a depraved heart. Me trying to have a spiritual conversation with my grandmother does not come from a demonic place. It comes from a place of love. Tell me I'm lying. If you see somebody that done passed on and is on the other side, and you see them in another state of consciousness, you mean to tell me you not going to talk to them? You not gonna rock with them? You not gonna groove with them? You mean to tell me you gonna act like they never existed and they took care of your butt? They was your elder that kept you safe and kept you out of trouble and kept you out of harm's way? I mean, for real. But now all of a sudden, because you got some people on the internet talking about, oh, they're demons, or they're this or they're that. Now all of a sudden you don't talk to them, or you can't do this or you can't do that. Stop telling people what and how to worship, and who to worship, and what, because you don't know. You don't know where you going, and they don't know where they going. I think somebody called it the blind leading the blind. Well, anyway, I got to go because I got other stuff I got to do. Anyway, I love y'all, but listen to your elders. And if you don't have good relationships with them, then form relationships with your elders. That's imperative to our struggle. It's imperative to our struggle. It's imperative to our struggle. We can't win. We can't win all divided up. We can't win, when everybody got their own unilateral stance on everything. Honor all altars. All honor every give honor where honor is due. Stop acting like you gotta run and control everything because you read a couple books or whatever. Listen to your elders, and elders, be responsible where people will want to come to you for that advice as an elder. That's how it's got to be. Parent your children, and I'm gonna make this last point. After you have a child, then that's your job. Your job is not to be in the club. Your job is to run your family. That's elder advice. Your job is not to be out partying. Your job is not to be the life to have street feet. That's not your job no more. Even if it was at one time, you got to give it up. You got to give it up. Anyway, love y'all.